everyone. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking to Camila Fitzgibbon. All things Montreal Theatre Hub theater and so much more. So if you guys are ready, let's hop into it. All right, I think we're good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. All right, so hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Little Thespian Podcast. On today's episode, we're talking to the amazingly talented, gifted actress, producer, director, and so much more, Camila Fitzgibbon. So hello, Camila.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing during this crazy time?
As well as one can be during these times. I'm okay. No, I think we've gone through the ups and downs, and now I'm starting to come out of this period of anxiety into a more of acceptance.
Right?
Moment. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because theater really has taken a back seat, it seems, during this time. And with our careers being just completely based on people coming to see us, I think this is the best platform we can possibly do some sort of things on. You have done a bit recently. You've just recently done a reading of one of the classics. If you want to talk a bit about A Streetcar Named Desire, I'm going to give you a bit of the floor. I know you just did that yesterday, so yeah, how was that?
Well, this was something that was organized. It was a reading of Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire that Cloak and Dagger Theatre, which is an up-and-coming company here in Montreal, they kind of put together this reading, and they organized it and called some local actors to participate and have some fun. So it's just kind of a great way to connect. And unfortunately, I got the chance to read for Blanche, which is, it's a dream world for any woman. So that was just a fun way to kind of stretch out the acting muscles a little bit and to have some fun with friends. So that was really one of the really cool things that we're able to do during this time, right? Since we don't have the stage, so we're just trying to find ways that we can connect and that we can practice our acting and that we can be together with our community.
Of course, yeah. Very well put. So if you guys notice Camila, it might be from Global News. She is one of the theater, I guess she's more of a, she talks all about theater hugely on there. Unfortunately, she can't right now because of the pandemic. But she's also been in so much. I pulled up her CV a couple days ago, and my God, you've been in a lot. And again, this is not her first time being on Zoom doing something. She also did something in Snow Globe Theater, and she played the statue, which is an amazing thing. If you guys can go see that, I don't know if it's still up. I haven't really checked, but it was great to see you in that as well.
Thanks.
No problem. But yeah, so many people have many questions for you. So I'm gonna
bring it on
question first, and then I'll talk more about the questions I want to ask you. But the first question from Philip on Instagram was, what was the original idea behind Montreal Theatre Hub? As this is a huge thing that Camila's been doing for years. Ever since I've known her, she's done Montreal Theatre Hub. And did it work out the way that you always imagined it to be?
That's a good question. Thank you, Philip. So I guess for those that don't know, Montreal Theatre Hub is a website that I created and that I ran and that I continue to run. And it's a website that provides coverage specifically to the Montreal theater scene. So we do interviews, we do reviews, we post news and job postings for anything that's happening in Montreal English theater. And so, I think the website has become what I've wanted it to become, but it has become so much more because it's become something larger than myself at this point. Because when I did start it, it was just something that I wanted to do for myself. I was like, well, I want to go see theater, but I don't have money and I would love to, and I love writing about theater. And so it was just something that I was doing for myself at first as a way to get to know the community, because I didn't really know. Like, I've only been doing theater for 4 years, which is when I started the website a while ago. So I never performed. I didn't know anybody in the community. And so as a way to meet people and as a way to discover what there was in the city, I had it in my mind, this clear vision of what this website needed to be and what these resources needed to be. But then again, because over the years, it's always been Montreal Theatre Hub has always been a response to something that I felt was a gap in the community and something that was missing. And so I noticed, hey, there's no audition calls. Somebody needs to do this. There's no reviews. Nobody's writing reviews. Hey, I need to do this. So it was always something that I was like, that I wanted to see that I wasn't seeing in the community. And so that was the initiative. And yeah, so it's my baby. I love it so much. And
Well, I think it goes without saying, many actors had many questions regarding Montreal Theatre because, again, it's something that not many people do per se. It seems in the theater community that Montreal Theatre Hub is the place to kind of look at everything in regards to English theater. I know I've checked it out for so much stuff. So thank you for making that. So I guess this ties into the last question. It's a personal question for me. I think I've already heard this story, but I think it's something many people would like to hear as well. What really drew you so much into a career in theater? I know like a lot of people really enjoy hearing how actors become actors, how people in theater just gravitate to theater. So I'd love to hear how exactly you got into that.
Oh man, I'll try to provide like a short version.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so where do I even start? Okay, so first of all, I'm not from Canada. I'm from Brazil. I moved here to Canada 10 years ago with my family. So theater wasn't growing up, and pursuing a life in the theater was never something that was really an option. It's not, you starve as an artist in Brazil. Here it's already hard enough as it is, but there was never something that I was exposed to. I didn't get to see theater growing up. And then when I moved to Canada, that suddenly became an option in this new world of opportunity where we can do so many things here. And I'm so grateful. Every day I thank my lucky stars to be here in Canada. I really do. And Montreal is such a great city. In my life, so I actually studied computer science and engineering. That was the first program that I took. And then I discovered that I didn't like doing that. And so I went to business school and I finished my bachelor's degree here at Concordia here in Montreal. And then I worked in business and marketing and sales for 10 years. So that was like what I did. And then after being extremely depressed and discontent and unhappy and miserable in life, I was like, what is the one thing that I really love doing, that I'm going to do this and I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life towards pursuing it? And that was when I found the courage to pursue it. And I guess the turning point where I was like, yes, this is what I'm going to do, is when 4 or 5 years ago, I decided to do this project called Year Beyond Fear. And it was literally a 1-year project where I was committed to doing something that I was scared of every single day for a year. And so I made a list, literally, this project was like, I made a list of all of the things that I was scared of doing in life, which included, things from like touching spiders to like social anxiety and performing in front of people, which is, things that I definitely struggle with. A lot less today, but it was things at the time that I was having a hard time with. And so I designed all of these, I did all these challenges that were designed to sort of expose myself to these situations. And then, one of the challenges was, of course, like go and audition for a show or start a website. And that's where Montreal Theatre Hub came in. That's when I did my first show ever. And then, I got bit by the bug and discovered that I loved doing it. And I can't imagine myself doing anything else. So
yeah.
So that was going to be short, but that was long.
No, it was. As someone that has heard the story too of just trying to conquer fears, it's very enlightening. I'm sure for me, it's definitely for me, and I'm sure it's going to be for many other people. So as you guys might know, this podcast is basically in regards to trying to shed a light during such a dark time. And I want to get your thoughts on the fact of that theater has been kind of let go, it seems, during this time. Not in a way, because places like Table d'Hôte Theater, which I know you have a nice hand in that as well, is starting to make stuff happen. But how has it been in regards to not having theater as kind of like a backdrop in the community recently? Because I know that with lack of theater, it seems like creativity seems to spark But as for right now, unfortunately, we can't have people in theaters. So how does it feel knowing that stuff's kind of trying to come back?
Well, that's really exciting. On a personal level, I'm excited to see theater come back because this is what I love doing. And there's film and there's television and there's other visual arts and other media arts and performance arts form, but theater for me is personally what I love doing. So I'm happy to have that back. But I'm also, I think you mentioned the word theaters has sort of been forgotten and put on the side burner. But in some ways, I think it is important for us to acknowledge what this moment is. And, the most important thing right now is for us to be healthy and to be safe and to take care of the people that need care. And I know that we're trying to get funding and we're trying to get money for the performing arts, and that's great. And there's so much advocacy work happening. But I do also acknowledge that, we need money to go to hospitals and to our seniors. Like that is a priority today.
Of course, yeah.
I don't want to reopen theaters I'm not like the show must go on kind of person.
Yeah.
And actually, no, for me, it really is, as much as I love theater and as much as it's such a big part of my life, we need to be taking care of ourselves and taking care of the people around us and our communities. So I want theater to open, but I do want it to happen in a way that's safe. Because if you're not alive, like, what's the point? There's theater and there's death, or but I am excited to see what comes out of this. I think that we're in this period where people have ideas now and we're excited, and it'll be really interesting to see what new kind of works and what new ideas and what new stories come out of this weird time.
Yeah. Well, obviously, with piggybacking off of that, again, we're in a terrible time right now, guys. It's been very weird in the last several months. I know many shows have been closed, many people have lost loved ones and whatnot. So please wear a mask. This is basically the part where I'm going to say, please wear a mask, do your distancing, and just try and, try and find something that you can hold on to during this point in time until stuff gets back to normal, per se. Yes, so please do everything because our health is number one, always, and especially now. My next question, I don't have the name for this one, but a common question that was asked is, how was it in regards to many people don't get to go on news and talk everything they love. So how does it come to be, and how exactly was it to be a part of global news, and still being a part of it, and when you can go back?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's funny because they kind of say that sometimes the coolest things in life are the things that you really can't ever plan out, or that you really can't dream up. And so global was something that I never conceived for myself, and I still don't believe it happened or that it has happened. And I don't consider myself an expert in theater, not at all. So it's really, really quite humbling, but it's exciting to be able to share something that I love doing so much on a platform like that. And to me, what global represents is a way to highlight our artists and our community. And it's it's putting a spotlight on the people that I love and the things that I love. And so really, I'm just a messenger for what our community is doing. And it's so gracious of them to be able to provide that space and to acknowledge our artists in our way. So it's been one of the coolest, it is one of the coolest things I've gotten to do, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. I love when I see just those videos pop up for global. It's nice to see what theater was coming up, and just seeing you on TV is amazing. For those of you that don't know, me and Camila, we're both studying at John Abbott. We both have our deck from John Abbott.
I don't have my deck, actually.
Actually, I don't technically either. That's a lie. But we both did graduate from the professional theater program. Many questions are from that, but many of them just go tying back to how has it been, how have you been, stuff like that, which, I mean, we've kind of covered that. Yes. Another question in regards to something that you might have not thought would have happened, was that you have been a voice in a video game. And how is that? Like, how did that come to be? And exactly, you had to do it in Portuguese, which I know is a language you do, but like, how did that come to be, and how exactly was that doing it?
Yeah, so I guess again to provide some context, I did the voiceover for a video game series called Arc Genesis, and I play HLNA, or Helena, who is like the main robot character in the series. So yeah, I do the Portuguese, the Brazilian Portuguese voiceover, because again I'm from Brazil, and that is my mother tongue. So I think I just got really lucky, Matt, because there must be, I think there's like 4 Brazilian actresses in Montreal. And I think one of them is like 40 and the other one's like 10. So I guess I was their only option. So I don't know. It's been really cool. It was the coolest thing I've ever got to do, acting wise, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I knew. It seems to me that a lot of people don't usually see that as like a career point, but there were a couple people that were asking in regards to video games and whatnot, and I'm sure it's a huge thing. I mean, I know one of our teachers, Anna Rivolt, shout out, has done many, and I'm glad that you got the chance to do that. So that's great.
It's a cool market to get in. It's hard to break into. So,
Yeah.
but it definitely, it's fun work. It's fun work.
Okay, so the next question, I'm just gonna go off script for a bit.
Yes.
So in regards to all the theater that you have done, and the theater that you've seen, because you've literally, I think you have done almost every part of acting I possibly could think of, on the top of my head. What has been your favorite? I know a lot of people say theater because it's live, but what has been like one of your most giving actress moments you have done so far, whether it be film, TV, theater? What role have you thought that, oh my God, I'm doing this role and I love it so much? Sadly, it's over because unfortunately we do get acting PTSD.
Yeah.
What exactly has been your really not crowning moment, but one that you think challenged you and then you just cherish it so much? I know it's hard. I can probably not answer this as well, but
I think there's 2. Obviously, the first role that I ever did, first role that I did 4 years ago, because that was the first role. It was, but I would say I really loved Mrs. Bennet in Pride and Prejudice. That was really, it wasn't, I don't think it was a spectacular performance in the sense that it was like my best work necessarily, but I think it was an internal turning point for myself where I was like, yeah, this is really fun, and I love doing this, and there's something really fulfilling about this that I could never imagine not acting. And I don't know how acting is going to take form in my life, or to what extent, or how much of it it's going to take, but Pride and Prejudice, it was, well, Mrs. Bennet and Pride and Prejudice was really special to me as an actor.
Yeah, no, obviously, with us knowing each other for since John Abbott, I love that performance. I saw it twice. It was great. But yeah, a lot of people also asked, and I'll ask it in my own way, in regards to how exactly do you get into becoming an actor? I know a lot of people have asked this probably a lot, and I can answer it too, but I want to get your view on it because, again, you have done so much, and yeah. So how exactly do you get into having a career in theater? I know it, or in acting in general.
Well, I guess I can only speak to it from a certain extent, because I still consider myself an emerging actor, and I still have so much to learn, and I'm only just beginning my career now. So you can ask me this question again in like 10 years to see if I'm still in the business, and then I might be qualified to answer. But but there's a lot of different ways that I feel you can go about doing it, right? And I don't think there's one definitive or one single path that people can go or people can take. And there's people that have no training, and then they suddenly get cast in a Hollywood film, and when they're like 10 and their career takes off, and that's just, it's a lot of it is luck, a lot of it is being in the right place at the same time, at the right place at the right time. A lot of it is the people which I think is really important, because just being able to get into an audition room is such a big step, and having someone that's going to give you that chance is a big part of it. And so a lot of my work has been sort of networking and sort of trying to meet people in the industry. And sometimes I think, like, I wonder if I got this role because this person's a friend, or so, that kind of, it messes with your mind a little bit. But for me, I do think that training is important, because as much fun as theater is, I do take this very seriously. Like, this is serious fun, as I call it. And so I do think training, and for some people that means going to school. For me at John Abbott was cool for me because there's a structure to it, and I like being around people and the environment and making these connections and having teachers and mentors, and being in that kind of space was important for me. And because theater is such like a collaborative art, I can't imagine studying theater on my own, like from a book. For some people, that kind of training is on the job or with a mentorship program. There's different ways about going about it, but I do think that the one thing that is important is that you do work hard at it. I don't consider myself, this is not to like demean myself, but I don't consider myself like a particularly gifted or naturally gifted actor. But I am someone that I work more than I should sometimes. So I do put a lot of effort into my work, and sometimes that pays off and sometimes it doesn't, because there is such a thing as trying too hard, I have learned. There's a lot of, to answer your question, there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but whatever way you choose to pursue, you have to realize that this is work.
Yeah, no, that answered it very well. And I completely agree. The fact that theater, many people can pursue theater on their own, and I know people that have done that, but it's true, theater is very collaborative. And I guess this goes into my next question, in regards to how exactly was it to travel to Montreal? I know you said that you loved Montreal, and then get this whole wave of theater, because there is so much theater in Montreal, guys. If you are to pursue theater in Montreal, there is so much. There's dance, I can go on, but we don't have time. There's so much theater and acting in general in Montreal. How did it feel to come from, I know you've spoken about it, how it influenced you, but how does it feel just getting that burst of culture and Montreal just hitting you in a way of which probably not many people get to know if they're not coming from somewhere else?
Again, I think I said it. I'll repeat it. We are so lucky to be here, and I mean, it's especially more pertinent considering like COVID. Right. Canada is not a bad place to be right now, but Montreal is a special place to me because it's got an identity. It's got a personality to it that. You go to some North American cities and places, and it's something very peculiar about it. And there's so much, they value history and they value art. And it is possible to live here as an artist. And it's not easy, but it is possible. And yeah, again, coming from Brazil, a lot of my theater exposure was online bootlegs, God bless them. And seeing just the theater that I saw was just stuff that I saw on the internet and on YouTube, and that I, kind of scoured around to find my way to see shows because I couldn't see it live. And so, yeah, so coming here and having that all of a sudden was like, for me, theater has been my school. I was never good at like geography. I was never good at history. I was never good at a bunch of things. And like the way that I assimilate and absorb information and the way that I have learned about the world around me, I have seen more theater than I have seen television shows and movies. I kid you not, Matt. Like I have seen more theater in my life than not that I don't care for film, but like theater is how I learn about my world and how I come to understand it and how I connect with other people and how I connect with myself. So like coming to Montreal and having all of these options was just a dream. Yeah.
Well, no, I guess yeah, I can definitely agree with that. As those of you that might not know me per se, Camila knows I'm really into acting. It might be weird, that bad too.
No, like your passion is so great. Your passion is like contagious.
I'm very passionate about what I do. And it's true. In regards to schooling and whatnot, it definitely becomes something like that. Where you go into a rehearsal or whatnot, I view it as just playing. And many people would probably view it as that, but they also view it as something that is almost like spiritual that happens when you're in any type of acting. It's just you become something else, right? It's the act of play. But I'm going to go back to our questions because yeah, they're just so many. So I guess this goes with what I'm trying to pursue here. In regards to inspirational, many people view theater as some sort of just thing that they can possibly do as an escape. And I guess this is just to ask you, one, obviously, if it's something that's so close to your heart, was it your escape? Because many people just come into theater as something, as a result of something else, but they find so much passion in it and so much of themselves in it, even though they're playing someone else. So many people were asking in regards to how exactly how exactly do you break that bound, I guess, and how exactly do you become something when you really have nothing else to do per se? Like how exactly are you willing to break that bond if you're doing, let's say, a doctorate or something else? How do you become something when it comes to theater? Many people were asking in regards to that.
How do you, I guess the question is, how do you become somebody else, or
No,
how do you
like,
get into the profession? Yeah.
Yeah, many people were asking in regards to when you have something else, like let's say,
Oh, okay.
as a result, many people were asking if I'm going to become a doctor, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. Do you find that many people, I guess this is a better question, many people view it as a second option? And why do you think that it's the case?
Ooh. Okay, so let me think about this. So it's funny because I think there's this really famous quote. I'm not sure who says it, that it's like, or even our teachers at school used to say, you know, you shouldn't do theater. You should only do theater, or you should only become an actor if you can't do anything else in your life, right? I respectfully disagree with that, because I think that choice and agency over decisions in your life is far more empowering. So, for example, I have a lot of things, I have a lot of passions in my life and a lot of things that I think that I could do that I actually think that I'm better at than being an actor. Like, I don't think that acting is like the thing that I'm like the best at. And, you know, I love writing. I love doing so many other things. But for me, I feel like I do theater because I want to. And I think that kind of force is there's a lot more power. It's a positive force when you feel like you have theater and you don't have anything else in your world. There's a kind of a desperation that comes with that, and the kind of need to, yeah, there's like a suffering, almost like romantic suffering that comes with it. But I do theater. I think I don't know if this answers the question, but if you have other things that you want to pursue in your life, if you feel like you're stuck between theater and being a doctor, um, that's not a bad thing. I've had that struggle many times, and there's still days where I'm like, maybe I should try something else. And but to choose theater as a life, it's a force that comes from within. I think that's a lot more empowering than like needing to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
The thing is, I find with many actors, is acting is almost a second gig in a way for many people. But it's also the fact too, if you're passionate about something, if you're that passionate and you have to contemplate, usually it means the latter. It usually means you should go for what you want to actually do.
Yeah.
That's just me. Not going to get into that conversation. But yeah.
I guess to also answer. I don't know if my answer really answered your question. I guess what you're saying is also one thing that I do believe in is that sometimes we have an idea that acting and becoming an actor is something that is going to make us happy, and then sometimes we discover that it's not what we want, or sometimes we find that we can be actors and we can be something else in life. Like some of the most interesting people I know are just really well-rounded people. You can be an actor and you can be a chef at night. I don't know. You can have all these things, and like to go through life and have and experience these different things is so cool. And there's no, if one day came and I realized that being an actor wasn't making me happy anymore, I would quit. I have no shame. I just want to be happy,
Exactly.
And I think that's the most important thing. Like, we can't have this fear of like acting doesn't make, like, I have to pursue acting because I got my degree and I did this and the one thing that I should do. But like, no, just go and be happy. And there's no this thing as failure. You tried it. I have, like, if I never become an actor in my life, I have at least I know that I tried, and like that's the most satisfying thing, really.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so it actually is coming to the time that we have to stop. I don't want to, but unfortunately we need to. There are so many things Camila's done. I could read you the list, but you guys should go over to Montreal Theatre Hub for sure, just to check out everything over there because there's so much. And she has a page of which I will put down below on all platforms. Excuse me. And thank you, Camila, for being on for our first episode. It was amazing to catch up with you and talk again. I know it's been a while. We can't last that long again. We need to talk more.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right? But yeah, thank you so much. That was a definite good way to end this, because I'm going to end each of these episodes with saying, shine bright. Shine as bright as you possibly can during this dark time. And we will get through this. Don't worry, when stuff goes back to normal, I'm going to be in the theater. I'm going to definitely be checking out Montreal Theatre Hub, as I usually do. But thank you so much, Camila.
Well, thank you. Like, this is what a wonderful initiative that you're doing this, and to, again, shine a little spotlight. Like, you really are, even throughout school, you were just such a positive energy to all of us. And like, I'm so proud of you, and like, I'm so inspired by you and your resilience to like keep pursuing this. And so thank you. I'm really, really honored that you asked me to do this, and like, it's so cool to catch up. Like, I admire you so much, so thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, I don't want to end it like this. But thank you so much, Camila. And I will talk to you again soon.
Oh, bye, my friend.
Bye. The lights are off. The curtain has fallen. And it's time to say goodbye. Thank you all for joining us on the Little Thespian Podcast. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask, either down below or on any of our platforms. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you all on our next episode, where we talk to the amazingly talented and just a ray of sunshine, Samara O'Gorman. All things your local Samaritan, and writing, theater, and all things amazing. So, we will see you guys then. Until next time, this has been Matthew Crandall, your host, and I will see you all on the next Little Thespian Podcast.